anticipating. Girl, come on, make up your mind. Repercussions and consequences. Sooner no matter, wish I never met her. True to the letter, I'll never forget her. Waiting, anticipating. Girl, come on, make up your mind.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another live stream Tuesday. I hope you guys had a good Monday and that you had a good weekend as well, as always. And I can see you guys in the live chat room already, so hello to all of you in there. I'm going to give you guys an instant shout out just as I see you going through. We have Orlando in there, Ruth and Laurie, Sue, Ninja Kitty, Alison, Mo, Angela, Cindy, Joe, Billy, and it's going through too quickly for me to keep up. I might have a little bit of a skip down. Melody Rocks and Teresa, Diamond Girl 1234, and Bob going through, and it's moving through too quickly again. But thank you guys for joining me tonight. And with tonight's live stream, we're just going to be doing pretty much what we did on the last live stream, but maybe not talking as much about aliens. Maybe we'll pick another topic that we can sink our teeth into, but a lot of alien chat on the last live stream. Let me get the names of my patrons up on screen because they make this all possible in the first place. So a massive thank you to you guys. You know who you are. The other thing is that my lights, I think, are running out of battery quite quickly. Let me skip this advert before it tries to hijack the live stream. So yeah, I think the lights will die down as we go through the live stream, but hopefully not so much as you won't be able to see me anymore. So yeah, people at the bottom of the screen, they make this all possible, the foundation of everything that I do, as I always say, and make every single video possible on my channel, as well as these live streams. So a massive thank you to you guys. Now, the other thing that we do during the live streams, and the main thing really, we're always in a race against time to get to the amount of likes to then have a fill jam, to bust out the guitar and have a jam. And tonight we're aiming for 335 likes. So if you could hit that thumbs up, that would be very much appreciated. And I will get on the likeometer to see where we are at the moment. 182 is the figure. If you can leave a thumbs up as you come through the door, that would be great, and we'll see where we end up by the end of the live stream. So hopefully we will get there. Now, the final thing that we bring on screen is the donations tab or message, because you don't have to donate. Just watching is great, and I say this in every single live stream. You don't have to donate, but people do donate, and I can't stop them from doing that. So if you can't resist donating, I think it's important you know between 45 and 60% goes to YouTube through the Super Chat window, and between 3 and 5% goes to PayPal through the PayPal link, which you can find in the description below. So I can see that we're closing in on 200 likes, just a couple more people, and there we go, over to 201 likes as I say it, which means we're looking for 134 more people to hit the thumbs up. Took a little bit of time to work that out, but it's a little bit easier than normal, that particular calculation, but maybe the brain is a little bit slow today for some reason, but some people would argue it's slow all the time. Right, now, with tonight's live stream, I can see there have been a couple of donations in the Super Chat window already. So thank you guys for those. And I will just address Paul's donation of $10. Thank you for that, Paul, because the message is 513,000 subscribers. Awesome. Let's have fun tonight and spike the likes, all y'all. Peace, love. I was just checking that didn't say all y'all. So peace, love, rock, and happy Thanksgiving with a smiley face. So thank you for that, Paul. Yeah, we don't have Thanksgiving here because I'm in England and not in the USA. But yeah, if you're over in the USA and that indeed is happening, then happy Thanksgiving to everybody over there. And Orlando's donated $2 as well, so thank you for that. And the message is, hit that like button, thumbs up, let's have fun. Hi, Paul. So thank you for that, Orlando. Now, I will quickly jump over to PayPal as well, because there have been a few donations in there. And Cindy's donated £30, so thank you for that. And the message with this is, hi, Phil, discussing original music. How often and by how much does the final recorded product differ from the initial idea? And how much does instrumentation, dynamics, tempo, and arrangement evolve in the course of the recording process? So thank you for that. I think when writing a song, I mean, it can usually go one of two ways. Either the song just happens really quickly and it almost writes itself, and it's very easy to write, and that's what I had with Paris Nord. It just kind of happened almost by itself. Obviously it wasn't by itself, but you find that because the chord progression's relatively simple, and I knew that I didn't want it to be cryptic in any kind of way lyrically, then you just have the idea for the song and you push on with it, and it just all seems to work out. So that didn't take very long to write at all. And then you've got other songs which you might have a riff for, and you might have a chorus, for example, but then you're not sure about the verses, or you're not sure how you're going to fit it in, or you might want to have a middle eight or a bridge and you don't know what you should do with that. So yeah, sometimes songs can take a very long time to put together because you're just trying to think of and create something that suits the rest of the track that you've put together. And yeah, this is something that I know that nowadays, and with everything that we've looked at on the channel, that when you're trying to think of different things to come up with, you now have another option where you can ask a computer processor to come up with, and it's not coming up with ideas. You can address the talent of the whole world and the best talent in the whole world ever, and it can give you ideas. And let's not get into AI, but when you're writing yourself and it's just yourself, and even maybe yourself and another writer, you might kind of hit a particular block and you think, oh, what can we have here? And that's just part of being a musician and an artist and writing. And in the future, I will be making a video that's going to be talking about this, about the process of writing and how I see it, and how maybe there's been a bit of a shift as to what is writing a song and what constitutes writing your own song, because I think that's definitely getting a bit mixed up nowadays, where people don't really understand or can't appreciate what writing a song is, and they think that being given a song is the same as creating a song, and they're very much two different things. So with this particular donation and the message, I could go on for this for quite a long time and talk about it for a long time, but I'd say that when I first started making demos, for example, my demo would be the song, like usually the whole song, but just in a rough way, like recorded quite quickly. So rather than say doubling up guitars, I just have one guitar in there. I'd have drums, I'd have bass, I'd have vocals, I'd have the harmony vocals in there as well. So everything will pretty much be there. And anything else that I wanted to add, it might be the case that, oh yeah, I needed a middle eight or a bridge, as it's called. It's just the same thing, middle eight and a bridge. And it might have then taken a very long time to find something that suited that. And when I say find something, I mean create something, to try and come up with something yourself in order to fill that space in the song, because you know that you want something there, but you're not quite sure what it is until you have that idea, until you create that sound, and then you think, oh yeah, that's exactly, it feels right that what you're writing, it should be in that particular place. And again, this is all from yourself. You're not relying on anything else to kind of come up with that for you. So with the initial idea, I'd say that I was someone and am someone who gets pretty much the whole song there. And then once you know everything is in place, then you start getting everything down properly. And when I say properly, I mean, going into your digital audio workstation and now recording bits, as accurately as you can, and obviously, getting the vocals as accurate as you can, how you want them to be, how you want them to sound. And I don't use pitch correction or auto-tune even on my studio tracks. I just sing it the way that I sing it, and then I decide whether I like it or not. And if I think that, that particular line didn't quite have the same or didn't have the right kind of emotion in it, for example, then I will sing it again. So it's not a case of it's not a case of hitting notes accurately. It's the feeling of the sound rather than where the notes fell. Because if it was about exactly where the notes fell, then you would be tuning it. You'd be changing things all the time. Whereas being slightly sharp, slightly flat, that is essential to get a particular sound from your voice. So I very much just listen to it, and if I like the sound of however I sang that particular line, and there are so many ways that you're singing exactly the same melody, but every time you sing that melody, you might do something different with the way that it sounds, like be a little bit more sharp or a little bit more flat, and then it's just the artistic choice of how you want to do it and which you think suits the composition best. So I know that a lot of people who sing and have learned to sing, especially at the beginning, they might not like the sound of their own voice. But I think it's more important to realise that everyone doesn't hear your voice the way that you hear your voice, because your voice is unique. So if you just learn to sing and do it your own way, then you will be unique. And I think if you get to a point with your voice where you don't mind the sound of it, then that's a good place to be. Because when I first started singing, I definitely didn't like the sound of my own voice. And I think maybe liking the sound of your own voice is maybe the wrong term, or it's maybe accepting the sound of your voice. That's probably more accurate, that you accept that that's how you sound, so then you can listen to it without critical ears, but now listening to the vocal thinking, is that what I want from that particular vocal, kind of imagining that it's almost somebody else. So I would say that when I first started to learn to sing, to begin with, I think nobody really likes the sound of their voice, but the better you get at singing, the more accurate you become. For example, at hitting notes, it means that now you're listening to your voice and you can hear that you're not missing notes. So then you can judge it for how it sounds from that feeling perspective, or how you want to produce that vocal, because you now don't have to worry about, that was flat, that was sharp, that was flat, and that was even flatter, and then you're thinking, that was rubbish because I missed the note, and all that kind of stuff. You want to get to a point where you're consistent with your pitch, and then you can start to listen to how you perceive your own voice, and kind of how it goes with the song, the lyrical content, all that kind of stuff, and whether it suits it, or whether I mean, I know people will just tune it, but for me, it's not about tuning. It's about if you didn't get what you wanted from the take, it's not tuning, it's going back and doing it again and trying to get the right emotion and feeling from it. Anyway, I mean, there'll be points where you'll hear your voice and you go, oh yeah, that's why I envisaged happening, or envisioned happening, and that's the way that you judge it, or that's the sound that you were hoping that you might be able to do with your voice. And yeah, I think that as soon as you start manipulating your own vocals, it might be something that you do artistically, in which case it's absolutely fine. But if you're singing a melody and you think, oh, I don't like that because I missed a note, so let me now tune it, you're going to lose something by tuning it. And I think a lot of people don't really understand that they're just seeing it as pitches rather than trying to hear the feeling, hear the emotion of what you're singing. So anyway, we will push on, but let me just bring this up on screen because I didn't even do this. When we're talking about the subscriber count, 513,000 subscribers. So thank you guys for subscribing, getting involved on the channel, hitting the thumbs up, leaving a comment and all of that cool stuff. It is very much appreciated. As I always say, we will keep on pushing forward and see where we end up. But 513,000 is certainly a good place to be. And I will get rid of that and jump back into the PayPal donations that we had over there. But thank you for that, Cindy. And I'd say just on the other points about dynamics, tempo and arrangement, from the demo to then the final product, I'd say that there isn't too much of a change. There might be a slight change in tempo, but the whole song is pretty much there. You've got all of your foundation, you've got all of your ideas pretty much, and there might be something that you add in production that is purely for a particular sound that you're going for. Like you might think, oh well, this section here, it's not quite got the sound that I want it to have, because it should be a bit fuller with the guitars, for example. So then you might layer in some octaves, you know, playing your guitar. And again, these are all artistic decisions that you're making, that you're creating. It's not something that you're being told to do, or being told this is how your song goes, because you know how your song goes because you're writing it. So yeah, there'll be creative elements that you come up with that are just for the overall mix and production that you think, oh yeah, that needs a little bit of work, and I'll put this in order to get that particular sound that I've got in my head. And it's always the case, or it certainly is the case with me, that you'll have the sound in your head and then you're just producing that, and you think, oh yeah, when you listen to it back you think, yeah, that's not quite it, that's not quite the sound that I'm hearing, and then you change it and you get closer and you think, oh yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. But again, it's the creative process that you're doing all of this. So anyway, yeah, that'll be a video in the future that you guys have to look out for on the channel. But anyway, thank you for that, Cindy. And there's been another donation. This might have actually been, oh yeah, it's a donation. So a donation of £10. So thank you for this. And it's Rick, and that is a straight up donation. I know that have got some CD orders, or should I say downloads, going through as well. So I have to just pick out the donations. I think this is another donation of £20. So thank you for this. And it's Stephen. And this is a straight up donation from Stephen. So thank you for that as well. And then Steve has donated £5. Thank you for that, Steve. And Steve has a message with the donation. Says, I saw a guy playing an 8-string guitar. What can he do with 8 strings that he cannot do with 6? So thank you for that, Steve. And I mean, to kind of state the obvious, it means you can play more notes. But I mean, more notes, I think I've been asked this question before, so I'll keep it brief. But when you're playing with, you know, a 7-string guitar, an 8-string guitar, the extra strings are going to allow you to go down further. Generally, it's going to be the lower strings that people add to their guitar, rather than adding really thin strings at the top to kind of go higher and higher and higher. It's going to be the bottom two strings. When I say bottom, I'm talking from a pitch perspective, that then allow the guitarist to go into the bass range. And yeah, I know, I think when I answered this before, I said that some people might say, well, surely the bass plays the bass notes and the notes within that range, and then the guitar is going to be, an octave higher. So basically what's happening with bass is that it's going to be the bottom four strings of your guitar. So that's how it's tuned. So it means that if you now imagine on the bottom of your guitar, your lowest strings, if you add 2 extra strings to it, it means that you can go even lower. And that's where you start now overlapping, because now you'll be able to go an octave potentially lower than you would do normally without those extra 2 strings. So yeah, whether you're into that or not, it tends to be kind of heavier genres of music to get that really heavy sound. But yeah, it just depends. I mean, even if you're playing and you have bass parts with higher melodies, if you're playing in that style, say for example you're tapping and you're tapping onto the low E string, but it's going to be kind of even lower. So if you're tapping your bass notes and you're tapping your melody, and the melody is going to be higher, you might even be tapping on chords so that you're alternating. And this is going to be a different way of playing, because obviously you're not using a pick, so you're requiring a lot of kind of hammer-on technique and accuracy in order to get this all to ring out. But it means that you can play a bass line and play a chord and tap those on together, and because of the extra strings, it means that you can go down into that bass range, and that might be why somebody's using it. But it is used in really heavy genres as well, so it's all about the application of however you're playing. But yeah, that's it. It's all for your style, really, what you're into and what you're doing with your guitar. For me, I've never found the need to have more than 6 strings, because those cover everything that I need to do. And yeah, I leave everything else to the bassist for all the bass lines. So yeah, I'm a bit traditional in that sense. But anyway, thank you for that, Steve. And we had another donation, and it's Karen who's donated £5.75. So thank you for that. The message is, hi Phil, congrats on hitting 513,000 subscribers. Something to sink your teeth into. What do you think of this Maya Angelou quote? We are only as blind as we want to be. Do you think it applies to how people view AI and music in some ways or in other ways? Thanks for all, Karen. So thank you for that. And yeah, we are only as blind as we want to be. I guess I've always said that whatever you're looking at, it's always good to try and get as much objective data as you can, and information, whatever it may be. So from that point of view, I think it is really important to just try and take on as much information about anything as you can, and that very much applies to some people who leave comments who don't really understand what I'm doing and how conclusive it is, what I'm pointing out, and they don't really understand the pitch lines and graphs that I'm looking at on screen. And yeah, it's just a case of maybe doing a little bit more, taking on a little bit more information, learning about it a bit more, watching a few more of my videos, so that they can then understand that what I'm showing is absolutely an objective fact, and the fact that my videos still are on my channel is because they can't be removed, because they are totally objective and cross-referenceable with videos and exactly the same software as I use. So right, thank you for the donations, and I can see that Orlando donated again $5, and thank you for that. And the message is, I must go, I will watch the replay, take care, and happy Thanksgiving in the USA. So yeah, thank you for that, Orlando. And again, happy Thanksgiving to everyone over in the USA. Now, I'm going to have a look into the live chat room, and then it says, do you think maybe Phil has a son? So I don't have a son, so there there you go. Corelia says Phil has no kids, so yes, that is true. And please demonstrate pitch lines versus blues scale. So technically with the blues scale, and this I'm not sure whether that's a request for a video, but with the blues scale, what you are having is notes that you're hitting. Instead of going up a tone, with the blues scale you go up a semitone. So if you're looking at that on the pitch graph, and say for example you're playing on the guitar, it means that if your guitar is tuned, your notes will be directly over those lines. If you're tuning it to A440 standard pitch equal temperament, your notes will be directly over the lines of tuning if you're perfectly in tune. So that's the same for the blues scale, because you are playing a note that's a semitone above rather than playing a tone above. So it will still go to that line. Now, where the subtlety comes in, if you're playing the guitar and you do a bend, it means that you're adjusting the tension of the string not by a semitone, exactly by a semitone, but you're pushing it into the microtones. So the microtones are the space between the lines. And what you'll have is, with great singers, they might sing a bluesy vocal or a bluesy melody, and then you'll find that they didn't actually hit the semitone. I'm just wondering whether I can turn on my amplifier and quickly demonstrate this, and it is strat time for tonight. If we do have the Phil Jam, and where are we at? 277 likes at the moment, and we're aiming for 335, so we are getting there. If you can hit the thumbs up, that would be great. And I'm just going to skip this. Let's see. Right, okay, so let's put this in. Can you hear this? Maybe. So yeah, we'll go for this A minor 7th sound. And if I'm playing through here, that little slide up there, that's going up a semitone. So that's what I meant, rather than going and going up. So you got the blues scale is just that semitone. And when playing a bend, so playing, you can hear that those are just straight notes. So it means that those will appear kind of perfectly over the lines of A440. But if I'm going, then there's a slight bend there that isn't. So it's kind of just underneath, and that's intentional. And the other thing is, if you can hear this really, I'm playing microtones here, so starting out what would be on the line of pitch and giving a little pinch down, therefore increasing the tension on the string, therefore making the note now just drift sharp. So hopefully you can hear that going up. And it's a really subtle thing. Like that. But what I'm not doing is going. I'm not going up a whole semitone, which will be that. I'm going. Yeah, it's really subtle. But that kind of thing is the kind of thing that singers do with their voices. They're never jumping perfectly from one note to the next. And I know that nowadays you can argue saying, but that's not true. Singers are always going from one semitone to the next because they're being tuned. And this is the problem that you have with tuning nowadays, is that great singers who do this, and the last video that I looked at was the Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga performance in Las Vegas, where their vocals have been so heavily pitch corrected on the official release that it is really bad. It's been really badly applied. So it means that any time that Lady Gaga or Bruno Mars wanted to do something like this, but vocally, obviously not doing it on the guitar, but the great thing about the guitar is it can, especially kind of slide guitar, it can mimic vocal cords, really closely as to what you can achieve with it. The only thing about a guitar is that when you apply vibrato on the frets, you can only go sharp, whereas when you're singing you can go below. You have to, you'd have to start getting your whammy bar involved to do that on the guitar. So it means that you can do really subtle changes in pitch that are absolutely 100% intentional as a player and as a singer, if you are singing and just tweaking a note. But when you start making everything finite values, it means all of this expression but subtlety in a vocal performance gets lost, because it's all being tuned to, that would be the vocal would just sound weird. So, or it would be, it would just be a straight line like that, when in fact the singer went like, they had a little tweak in their vocal that they did intentionally to give the line a particular sound. So, but anyway, back to blues scale here. It's just placing in that, and this is kind of a really easy scale to start throwing in there if you know your pentatonic shape 1. Like that, because you can, you can play it with kind of the hammer on, like that, or like that. So I'm just throwing in kind of this semitone, which your notes here. Those are the notes from the blues scale that you're actually putting into your pentatonic shape 1, but I always play them in context, so I think you should always play notes from other scales in context. And there, that little bend, like that. It's kind of going to the minor scale, natural minor scale. You want to be able to kind of throw in, I mean, this is just how I think you should be able to play, is throw in notes from other scales, but in context of what you're playing over. Like that, it's, even though you think, oh yeah, you're playing kind of minor pentatonic scale, you're playing blues scale, and putting them together, I'm not really doing any of that, even though technically that's what I'm doing. But when you're playing it, you shouldn't really be, I don't think you should be thinking about scales or anything. You should just be thinking about the notes that you've got going through your head at that time, that you can then just get going through the fretboard. That's kind of what it's all about for me. So anyway, it looks like this might be a bit of a guitar session. But Angela says, what's the difference between alternative picking and sweep picking? So here, let's keep this in A here. So what we've got is, I was kind of playing through. If I'm going, I don't know what I've got. So when you were doing kind of sweep picking, you're kind of sweeping across your strings. So it means that you're doing like a motion here. If I'm doing it like that, it's kind of that sweeping motion, and that, and you get that. It's not doing it on a Fender is quite difficult, but it means that you can follow notes on kind of quite quickly, and it's something that I don't really do myself. I'm not kind of into throwing together too many kind of, I don't know, kind of sweep picking arpeggios and that kind of stuff, because it's something that it's just all subconscious, and you just kind of let your hand do it rather than consciously coming up with a particular melody. So yeah, alternate picking is when, I mean, it's very much what it sounds like. So if you're playing through, let's take the that blues scale. So I'm going pick, 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 and you know, and that. So I'm kind of alternating that pick all the time, and I mean the difference between that, if I'm going, the second one is a lot more aggressive, and the other way is, you know, of doing kind of, if I'm going, so that kind of doing the alternate picking means that you're getting, I mean, hopefully you're getting the notes to kind of pop out a little bit more concisely, in order, because you're actually hitting that string each time. Whereas if you're just doing hammer-ons and pull-offs like that, you can hear that. So that's kind of the alternate picking of being able to yeah, get each note to kind of ring out a little bit more, but be more concise, because there I'm now applying palm muting like that, and you can still hear those notes. If I now try to do hammer-ons and pull-offs palm muting, you wouldn't get anything because you're muting that string. So the alternate picking, it kind of gives you more, I guess, more options, kind of dynamically, if you want to play through a line that you want, and you kind of wanted to have that sound, that then you can do. So yeah, and again, it's not something that I do too much in terms of playing loads of alternate pick runs, because I like that legato sound. Actually, I'm trying to figure out how much alternate picking I do, because there might be a bit in there. And this is exactly what I was saying a minute ago about sweep picking arpeggios, is that you just let your hand do it. Okay, there's a little bit of alternate picking. It's difficult to try and analyse what I'm doing while I'm doing that, but it's not all alternate picked. It's kind of alternate picked a little bit, and then a little bit of hammer-ons and pull-offs and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, those are the difference between the twos. The two that the sweep picking arpeggios and the alternate picking, which is, yeah, which is quite nice to be able to get the palm muting. Yeah, so anyway, these kind of techniques, you have to kind of analyze what you're doing when you're doing it, because when you're learning to do it, and learning any technique, you start doing it really slowly and gradually build it up, and to the point where it just becomes subconscious. So then you've got to get back into your conscious mind to figure out, right, well, what was I doing there? But and this is, I think, with alternate picking, when it got to the stage where you now have to put in another note in the run, in order to make your pick go in the right direction for the next note, that's where I kind of got lost with it, because I thought, well, now we're putting in notes purely for speed and for no other reason. That there's no melodic value in the note that you're playing. It's just so that you can get to the next string in the right direction. And unfortunately, if you are looking to play fast, that's something that you just have to accept, that the notes that you're playing aren't necessarily there for any reason other than the technical side of getting to the next string the quickest way possible. So you might think, oh, I need another note on this string so that I can now go in a downwards direction, so I'm going to put in another note. So it's not even really about the sound, it's about the technique and being able to make the pick move as quickly as possible. So yeah, that's something that I wasn't particularly into, and I think that's probably why I then started to kind of incorporate a little bit of hammer-ons, pull-offs and alternate picking, just because I could play the notes that I wanted to play rather than just playing notes for the sake of speed. So anyway, yeah, and that was a question from the live chat room. There has been another donation here in the PayPal window, and this is Karen again, so thank you for this. And the message is, have you played 12-string guitars, electric and or acoustic? So yes, I have. And with 12-string guitars, it's exactly what it sounds like. The only difference is that you've got to be prepared for it to be. I find them slightly harder to play because you're holding down two strings with one finger, and making sure that, obviously it's dependent on the quality of the 12 string that you're playing, but just making sure that your fretting technique is perfect and you're not accidentally resting on any other strings. And I never got to the point of ever playing lead guitar on a 12 string, but just playing basic rhythm, as you would do like with acoustic guitars. I think on acoustic guitar you can still do a little bit more with it, or at least that's what I found. But I think, if I worked at playing the 12-string guitar a little bit more and just got used to it, then it might have been the case that I was playing one that wasn't particularly good, with quite a high action. So when you're playing a 12-string guitar and it's got a high action, which means that the strings are quite far away from the neck and you have to push them down a lot, kind of doing bar chords, can be a bit of a challenge, so, especially on a 12-string with a high action. But I found it's just getting used to it, really. Getting used to the fact that you're holding down two strings with each of your fingers. But you do get used to it. It's not something that is totally alien, because all of your shapes and chords are all going to be the same. Just have to be a little bit careful. If anything, just concentrating on that high attack angle of your fingers to let everything ring out underneath. So that's what I found anyway. So there we have it. Thank you for the questions over on PayPal and in the super chat window as well. Now I can see that we are at 314 likes, which means we're looking for another 21 or 20 likes before the end of the live stream. And by the way, it's almost 10 to midnight here. We've got a couple of minutes left and then it'll be 10 to midnight, so we've got a little bit of time to get those likes. Cindy says, did he say alien? I didn't say alien. Elaine says, love Chris on the 12 string on Sweet Emotion. So we busted out the 12 string. I was on the 6 string and Chris was on the 12 string for that particular cover video. But you can't beat the sound of a 12 string. Just sounds great. It kind of thickens things up really nicely. So I think that was half the reason that cover sounded so good. Just that 12 string sound and being able to split the guitar parts that we were playing. So there has been another donation over on PayPal, and it's Lisa W, who has donated £5. So thank you for that, Lisa. And the message is, hi Phil, while you have the guitar out, can you show the tapping and hammer-ons and their difference? Thanks for the demo. So, I mean, tapping and hammer-ons are exactly the same thing, really, but tapping is when you're going to be using your other hand. So, using your right hand. So, coming over, and if I'm playing, let's keep it in our A minor 7th that we had earlier. So, if I was going, and I wanted to go by tapping it in there and getting the next note in this minor pentatonic scale, and when you're tapping in, you are doing, you know, a tap and then a pull off, hammer on, and it depends how you want to do it. You can be more deliberate like that, or like that. So it's going to be tap and then like a pull off with this second finger, which is tapping and then pushing into the guitar so that you're applying tension as you leave it, because that's going to make the string vibrate and kind of resonate. And you just repeat that. And then, yeah, I won't get into any copyright territory, but yeah, you can watch my Eruption cover for that. But this is the thing, that technically it's the same, you know, hammer-ons, pull-offs, hammer-on. You know, if you're not picking it, that's a hammer-on, and then pull-off. And you want to try and get that. I mean, even though I'm kind of, generally you'd start with a pick to kind of give yourself a bit more of a chance, especially kind of playing a strat. But once you get into that cycle, you want your hammer-ons and pull-offs to almost be like, and you can try and kind of gauge that as to how much you want to pull off. Because if you're barring with that first finger, you might get that where you can hear the other strings underneath, and you might want that, you might not want that. If you don't want that, you can arch your finger over and so now I'm having to think about technique, but it means that you're muting that by arching your first finger over. We're muting the G string there. So if I pull down and hit that string, you didn't hear it. But if I'm barring it and then pull down, you do hear it. So yeah, and you might hear the B string as well. So yeah, there's all tiny kind of technique things you can work on. But tapping is basically a hammer-on, but with your other hand. That's what's going on. Right. So thank you for that. Right. Hammer-on and tapping are one and the same. Yes, tapping is hammering on to a string. So, and that's what it is. But using the right hand, and that's what tapping is. This hand. So that you if I was describing doing hammer-ons and pull-offs, I'd go like this. Like hammer-ons, pull-offs, which is just what I've done. Pull off, hammer on, hammer on, hammer on. So it's making that sound without picking the string, because I'm using a hammer on, and pull off, I'm pulling off and not using the pick. So that's what hammer-ons and pull-offs are. If I'm tapping, tap, but you kind of, some people, or accidental harmonic, but kind of pulling towards yourself. Some people do that, pulling up or push down. I tend to push down. So I find that, yeah, pushing away, I feel like I've got more freedom to do that rather than pulling up. I'd rather kind of push into the strings that I know are all going to be muted, because I'm resting on them with my first finger. And then you can kind of you can kind of fret it, and then you can vibrato with a combination of your second finger and your third finger if you want to. You can see how here I'm not letting go of the guitar, and this is like a tip for anything. If you want to vibrato, you can leave your hand underneath and let that do the work. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing and tap on, but I'm actually doing the vibrato down here. So you can get really nice sound with your tapping and add vibrato, but you're not actually learning to vibrato with this. You're already doing it underneath with your left hand. But if you wanted to work on doing that, then you can do. Anyway, so let's get through. Where are we? In the super chat window, Karen donated $10, so thank you for that in the messages. Greetings from beautiful Sacramento, California. Phil, pardon my ignorance, but what is the purpose for the 2 or 3 neck guitars like Richie Sambora plays? So those are going to be tunings. So you've got a guitar that's in a different tuning, and more often than not, if it's twin neck guitar, you'll have standard tuning, then you'd have open string tuning for maybe playing slide guitar on, so that you don't have to keep changing guitars all the time. You've got the two options with you up on stage. Let me just skip this. And Elaine says, could you do some finger picking on the Strat? Now it depends what you want to do. I mean, generally, if I'm going you've got kind of a way of doing it, and what I'm doing there, by the way, just to explain, I went up and I'm using my second finger, so you get a slightly different sound because I'm using my finger to build up tension, and it's kind of more of an aggressive sound. But then you've actually got kind of kind of finger style, but that's not this Strat isn't designed for that. You'd be doing that on acoustic, no. I'm going to get into copyright areas here. Yeah, but anyway, you wouldn't be doing this on a Fender Strat with this kind of tone. But yeah, that is that. I mean, with that kind of second finger pick, I don't really tend to do that much. And again, just bringing in that second finger feels a little bit kind of weird. But I think that is how I would normally do it, because I use my third finger as well with tapping. So I kind of want to bring in the third finger. So yeah, that kind of finger picking, or should I say hybrid picking, which is basically using both. It's kind of what it sounds like. Pick, second finger. I mean, you might be able to hear the difference in the aggressiveness of that, but for me, the pick kind of does it. I don't kind of see too much of the advantage of the sound. It's not really in my style anyway that I enjoy playing. But yeah, that's it. You can use that second finger. So thank you for that. Right, we are going to be jumping into, it's midnight, so we are it has been a bit of a guitar live stream, but we will jump into my cover of, it looks like, still haven't found, what I'm looking for. We will bring that to a close, and we will be having a fill jam as well. And Melody Rocks says, what's chord tapping? So I'm trying to remember the video that I did on this absolutely ages ago, but what you're going to be doing, I'm tapping on more than one string here in order to get more of a chord sound. So what you can do is, again, this is something that I haven't worked at, but if you want to, you can start to tap on more than one string, but 2 strings, and maybe 3 strings if you want to get rid of your pick and start using your first, second, and third finger. It's not something that I've worked on, but it's just exactly the same thing as tapping, but now you're tapping on more than one string at the same time in order to then give yourself the sound of another chord, if that's what you want to do. So that's all it is, just another note or 2 on top of the initial tap that you're doing, and all at the same time. So you can alternate the notes if you want to, but chord tapping will be tapping on an actual chord. Anyway, so that is that. Now, let's get into my cover of Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you after. Rock! And there we have it. Jumping in immediately just before I jumped into that video when I made it. So thank you guys for voting for that as tonight's cover video, and you guys over on Patreon for just requesting lots of different ones. So we are going to be jumping into Picture Corner as well, just briefly to see what's going on in there tonight. And I don't know whether this is going to show up on screen correctly or not. It would not have shown up on screen because it's not in the right place. Now, let me just adjust this before we show it. And here it is. So this is from Suzanne, and the message is, this came Friday. Had forgotten I'd ordered it from Spring, and that's the only picture for Picture Corner tonight. And this is the thing about the spring.com store is, they did take, I've now moved away from them, but they did take about 8 or 9 months to deliver, unfortunately. But now Dashery order within a few days or a couple of days, so a lot better service, and I think from what people say, better quality products as well. But thank you for sending that in, Suzanne, and Laura for linking me to that in the first place. And if you want to get your hands on any of the merch, then there's a tray underneath this video and you can click on anything you like there. By the way, a top tip, that there's going to be a Black Friday sale on Dashery from Friday to Sunday, so if you are looking to get anything at the store, that is the time to do it. So maybe don't order now, even though that's very bad marketing. Don't order now, but wait until the weekend to get some money off. So I'll mention that on Saturday night as well, just in case anybody's interested in saving a little bit of money on the merch. Right. Now we are going to be jumping into the backing track soon for the Field Jam. It is Field Jam number 285. Where am I looking? Yes, 285. Guitar. I turned off the microphone for the cover video, so now it's back on again. And we will click on this and we'll try and mute that. Right, this is dramatic, atmospheric, melody, rock, backing track in B minor, and it's from YT Jam Tracks. And this advert's just made it skip down. I tell you what is interesting and a bit annoying is the amount of adverts that I'm now getting for AI products, because my videos are, at least I've done a few videos on AI, and here's another thing, that I had an email from an AI company wanting to do a sponsored video, or for me to make a sponsored video about their AI music program. Obviously they don't watch my channel and don't realize that I'm not going to be doing that. I don't do any sponsored videos, but the whole point of their AI model is that you don't even need to type a prompt. It can just create a song. So now you're not even putting in any words, it's just giving you a song. And obviously it's using, or the AI model has been trained on copyright material, but that's apparently legal at the moment. So it's just interesting that they wanted me to do a video on my channel, obviously not watching my channel at all, just seeing the subscriber count and hoping that I'll do something for them, but obviously I'm not going to. Anyway, yes, this is from YT Jam Tracks, dramatic, atmospheric, melodic rock backing track in B minor, and it's 5.5 minutes. So let's play this, see if I can actually hear it to begin with. Can you hear this? everybody. Okay, oh, I didn't zoom out. Red dude. Red dude! There he is. He was asleep. And there we have it. That was a dramatic, atmospheric, melodic rock backing track in B minor from YT Jam Tracks on YouTube. Now, during that, for some reason, my guitar was really quiet and the track was really loud. So I don't know, I'm assuming it was all okay where you were, but the levels were a little bit weird. So anyway, thank you guys for joining me tonight, because we are going to be calling things to a close. And Elaine donated $2 and said, thanks, Phil. Enjoyed that. So thank you for that. And then Diamond Girl 1234 donated $5. So thank you for that as well. And the message is Tip Jar. This one was special with all of the demos. Thanks, Phil. So no problem. I am going to be here with another live stream, of course, on Saturday. So if you could join me then, that would be very much appreciated. I'll be here with another video tomorrow night and Friday night and Sunday night. Those are the video days. But all that's left for me to say is try to stay as safe and as sane as possible in this crazy world in which we live. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and I will catch you guys at the next one. Rock!